Hey guys, welcome back. We are now getting into the meat of the Galactic Prisoner arc with Dragon Ball Super Chapter 44, and what better way to heat things up than with an awesome battle with our main villain, Moro. So we kick right off where the last chapter ended, with Goku trying to search down Moro, finding him, and Moro knowing that Goku is searching for him. And that's pretty cool. So we have here, which is very interesting, Vegeta saying that, oh, hey, I'm going to try that too. I'm going to try to find him. So Goku's like, no, don't. This guy knew what I was doing. And I felt like a terrifying energy from him. Not too strong, but it was terrifying nonetheless. So that was very interesting. And Goku has a line here that reminded me of somebody. He says, as if a whole lot of people were screaming out in pain, I directly thought of Obi-Wan Kenobi when Alderaan was destroyed in Star Wars. So I thought that was pretty interesting. A lot of Star Wars references in these latest chapters here. Last time it was a Star Wars story with the whole train heist sequence. And now we have basically Obi-Wan when the Death Star destroyed Alderaan. That's pretty interesting. Have there been any other references that you guys have noticed that I haven't? Let me know down in the comments if you've noticed any. But pretty much, yeah, Moro's power is absorbing planets and souls. And then there's another reference there, Shang Tsung for Mortal Kombat. I immediately got that vibe. So now we have Shang Tsung for Mortal Kombat as the main villain in Dragon Ball Super. So then we actually get some good stuff with Moro, and we see this guy piloting, and it's like, oh man, what's going on here? So far, these last couple of chapters has done a good job of like building up this guy and mystery surrounding this guy and how he got out of his cage in the prison, his story. So there's a lot of mystery here, and we're getting little pieces of information at a time, and I think it's pretty well done so far. Because he says that he had just barely enough magical power to break out of the prison. So last we saw, Moro's magic got sealed away by the Great Kai. So evidently, he has gained a little bit of it back somehow. And I wonder if that has something to do with the Great Kai being sealed away in Majin Buu, and like the effects of his technique is wearing off very, very slowly over the last 10 million years, or something to that effect. So I'm interested to see if they have some sort of explanation of how this sealing away of his magic works and how he was able to get a little bit of it back, at least enough to escape from the prison, as we will soon find out. However, using even a little bit of his magic seems to take a toll on him, because he is able to scan for planets with life, which kind of aligns with his abilities of sucking the life out of things, so it makes sense. Now he's kind of like the Silver Surfer and Galactus, or Galactus and one of his heralds who go out and find planets that Galactus can go and devour. But at any rate, this next part of the chapter kind of dragged a little bit for me. It was very wordy, but we established that the direction that they are heading in is New Namek. And they explain that there's no planets around over there in that area with life on them. And which makes sense for how easily Moro was able to scan throughout wherever and find them, which also begs the question, how precise does Moro's scanning ability have to be able to say, yep, that's where the Nameks are, let's go. So I thought it was pretty funny that the top tier galactic patrolman that Jocko is, sarcasm, did not realize that the Namekians were in fact still alive, even though they hung out at Earth for about 260 days. But I can understand that they kept a low profile, so it's understandable that he wouldn't realize that. I just thought it was a little bit humorous. So we get a scene of the train bandit explaining that he knows about the Namekian Dragon Balls because he was in galactic prison. How serendipitous that these guys know about it so that they can tell the heroes, so that the heroes come to the conclusion that Moro is heading to Namek. And then it's also serendipitous that the Moro's little friend guy, the Frieza army deserter, also knew about the Namekian Dragon Balls to tell Moro, so that they end up heading there to Namek. So Moro in prison finds out about the Namekian Dragon Balls, How is he just in like the public general population? I thought they would keep somebody that dangerous in his own secluded cell, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just leaving him out, able to get information. Did he get it from a guard or something? I'd like to see a little bit of information about Moro's prison life. But then you get some really good stuff from New Namek. They go to New Namek. It looks like Namek. Some of the scenery is really good, really well drawn. But thinking of that, like this whole chapter feels more consistent visually, so it was very nice to look at. But now that all the dialogue heavy stuff is out of the way, we get to the meat of the chapter, Goku and Vegeta going to New Namek. So Goku and Vegeta instant teleport there, and Mori is standing there and he's like, who's this now? And then realizes it's Goku, but he doesn't have any reaction to Vegeta, which I was really hoping for them to see Vegeta and just like start getting afraid, you know, because last time they saw him, he wasn't a good guy, you know what I'm saying? So Goku has the Nameks run away from that area, and it just so happens that out of an entire planet, Moro decides to land in that spot. Perhaps he chose that spot because that's where Goku and Vegeta are. And he even mentions the spectacular energy. Now, I'm wondering if he's talking about Goku or Vegeta here. Probably Goku, since that's the one he sensed earlier. But in this chapter, he fights Vegeta. So we get a nice little moment of Moro exiting the ship and just breathing in the fresh air, and he's like, oh yeah, this is good. And this chapter really helps you feel like how long this guy has been locked away and how much he's been wanting to get out, because he's been locked away for 10 million years. And like I said, I'd like to see his prison life and what kind of conditions he lived in, you know? I mean, 10 million years of whatever that was, no fresh air, and he's been on a freaking spaceship until now, and it's New Namek, which seems to be a very fresh air type of planet, if you know what I mean. But Moro's partner, who I didn't mention, helped him break out of prison. Now, part of me thinks that Moro should have broken out of prison with the help of this guy, which he did, but they make it seem that Moro's magic is what got them out, where I think it should have been maybe a helping factor because it already makes him too powerful. But we'll have to wait and see what's contributed to him getting his magic back, if they explain it, which I hope Toyotaro, it seems that he has a plan with this arc, and I'm very happy to see the structure that it has. It doesn't feel rushed. It feels like it's actually leading to stuff. There's building mystery, there's answering of questions and everything like that. So I'm really hoping that that they flesh some of this stuff out and answer the questions that are arising in each of these chapters. But Moro's partner, who, if I recall correctly, doesn't have a name yet, recognizes Vegeta. And at some point during the fight, Vegeta crawls up on the cockpit of the place, and the guy sees Vegeta's Galactic Patrol symbol, and he's like, oh man, he went and, you know, got away from Frieza's Empire and joined the Galactic Patrol. Man, what a traitor. So I'm looking forward to see if this guy does anything more with this information. Like I said, if Toyotaro seems to have a plan with this is going to lead to something, and I really hope it does. I hope this arc doesn't fall flat on its face, if you know what I mean. But the thing that really made me happy that they went to New Namek here is when Moro goes to grab this little Namekian kid, and this scared little kid is getting his life sucked out of him. And Vegeta goes over, he freaking kicks Moro's hand and saves the little kid. Like, this is like major redemption time for Vegeta, because like I said, last time these guys saw him, Vegeta was a villain. This kid's name is Eska. We have such a cool scene. I'm gonna call this Vegeta's redemption. Like, Vegeta was a monster to these guys, and he says it here. He's like, I have a troubled history. Yeah, troubled is an understatement, dude. But I mean, this is a real like redemption moment for him. Like, not only has he seen the grown out of his villainy days. He's is a good guy now, and this is like him saying, I did terrible things to these people, you know, this is my chance to kind of give back, or at least make up in some small way what I did to them. And I thought that was fantastic. But not only that, Vegeta wants to teach Moro a lesson for what he just did to that small kid. And this is so cool. Vegeta immediately goes into Super Saiyan, which I thought was interesting. But it makes sense because Goku's like, hey, you know, this guy, we don't know the capabilities of this guy. His magic is weird and stuff like that. And Vegeta's like, okay, like I thought maybe base form might be enough for Moro, at least at this point. But he goes into Super Saiyan. It's like, okay, so Vegeta is being careful at least, but not too careful, you know? So he charges at Moro and he can't get a hit out on this guy. And like, as we've seen, this guy gets tired out just from like utilizing a little bit of his magic. So that just goes and to show that the depths of this guy's magic, we haven't seen hardly any of it yet. And I think he's gonna get his wish. And I think his wish is to get his full magical capabilities back. So it's a pretty exciting fight until Moro decides to use some of his magic, and he uses some sort of like gravity / telekinesis kind of thing to slam Vegeta on the ground and then throw him into a cliff. And then Vegeta's like, you know, screw this, I'm going God, man. And Vegeta actually dodges some of like Moro's magic, which seems to be invisible. So I'm wondering if Vegeta can see this or if he's just automatically dodging like Ultra Instinct. No, I'm just kidding, but who knows? But anyway, he charges at Moro, finally gets a punch, connects a punch onto him, but of course he's blocking, and that's the image that we saw in the leaks if you saw my last video. But then Vegeta finally gets an actual hit on him, kick to the freaking face. Unfortunately, this doesn't take Moro out, and he decides to use some of his magic, which is to use some of Goldo's ability on Namek when he was using the trees as kind of a shank that he was gonna plunge into Krillin and Gohan back in the day. Now Moro is using that same kind of technique against Vegeta. Like, these trees would hurt Vegeta even. No matter how sharp they are, they would just like break like a toothpick against him, I feel like. But God, Vegeta's so freaking badass here. He just like zaps him all nonchalant. So we cut briefly back to John Lennon, Galactic Patrolman, and Chaco, and Chaco's hyping up Goku and Vegeta. He's like, they can handle this, they're super powerful. And then Maris is like, no, they don't know. As if he knows Moro's true potential and his true power, which I still have a slight suspicion that Maris might still be in league with Moro. But what do you guys think of that? And so the chapter ends with Moro finally getting serious. He takes off his cloak and he's like, well, you want to learn some of my magic, eh? Which, if you saw my leaks video, I did a rough translation, which 3 of them weren't totally accurate, but I am learning and I try my best. But this one's pretty accurate from what I translated. And now Moro's getting serious and Vegeta is in trouble, I think. But what did you guys think of this chapter? I thought it was pretty good at building things up, and I really liked this fight with Vegeta attacking Moro. I think the art is pretty consistent overall. I didn't really notice. If you guys notice like wonky stuff here and there, just put it in the comments. And of course, if you have any thoughts or theories, just put them down in the comments below. I like reading them. But yeah, I guess that sums up all of my thoughts. I think it did a really good job of building up the arc, and we're getting into this fight with Moro, so it's pretty exciting stuff, and I thought it was pretty cool. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. Leave a like, share the video if you enjoyed it, and as always, take it easy.